Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Brenton, and today we got Connor over here behind the camera on the Connor cam. Woo! So today we're talking about the Pocket 6K Pro that just got announced. Came back from a little shoot with Connor and saw this bad boy pop up, and it looks pretty amazing. I think the built-in NDs is the biggest highlight of it, actually, with 2, 4, and 6 stops of built-in ND and a new battery design. So they're actually using the Sony NPF style batteries right here, which is pretty cool because these are a lot bigger than the Canon ones. And so theoretically you'll get a little bit more juice out of it, but with the specs on this guy, I don't know if this is actually going to give you any more juice. So I'm gonna go through the specs right now. So it looks like it has a 6K sensor. So it's probably the same sensor as the original Pocket 6K. The screen gets a huge upgrade. Like, it's a tilt out screen, so you can tilt it up, very similar to like the Sony a7 III screen. So that guy will actually go up to 1500 nits on that built-in monitor, which is kind of unheard of for a built-in monitor to hit 1500 nits. This camera's kind of a first for that. The native ISOs on it, which I think are a little more important, are still 400 and 3200. So that kind of gives you a good exterior, daylight look, as well as like a darker interior look if you want to shoot at 3200. So the built-in NDs, so they are infrared ND filters. So they're gonna cut infrared pollution away from your sensor, as well as neutral density, making it darker. I know in the past, a lot of Blackmagic cameras have had a lot of infrared pollution issues, especially on like the Ursa Mini Pro and the Ursa Mini Pro G2. They can get like some weird red looking shadows in there if you have like a really bright sunny day. So we'll see how these guys look. You might need to add some infrared filtration and in addition to these guys, but they might be good enough for this sensor. So the last new thing on here is actually an update for all of the Pocket cameras, which I really like. Blackmagic's actually been pretty good at giving you firmware updates and even frame rate updates for your older cameras. Like the Pocket 4K got a frame rate update to do 75 frames a second, and it's 4K crop mode if you're using Blackmagic RAW. So all of the Pocket cameras are actually getting Generation 5 color science, which changes I noticed it changed the luminance and the saturation of some of the color tones as they get brighter. And the log curve actually gets flatter, so more similar to like S-Log3 or Canon's C-Log2. Generation 5 color gives you a flatter log curve to have smoother highlight roll-off when you're grading the image. It doesn't claim any advantages in dynamic range, but this should help in the grading process. Target market for this camera is pretty broad. They're targeting $2,500 for their new camera, without the new EVF that they just introduced. And that's another $500, which sounds like a ton of money until you realize that EVFs are super freaking expensive. Like the Blackmagic EVF is about $1,500 for their Ursa series, and Canon's EVF is about $4 or $5 grand. But yeah, you got any thoughts about this camera, Connor?
I think I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, you want it?
I think so. Pretty dope.
Work those double time shifts for this bad boy. So yeah, I think this camera actually competes super aggressively with the Sony a7S III, which is pretty much it's a video-centric camera that can take photos, and this is a video camera that can take photos, kind of. I think it still takes cinema DNG photos, but I would have to double check on that guy actually. At the price point that this guy comes in, it's the same price as a Canon R6, which is again primarily a photo camera. But this guy actually competes with like a Red Komodo on image quality alone. And as far as frame rates, it actually destroys the Red Komodo. Like the Red Komodo tops out at 40 frames a second in 6K, where this guy will actually do 60 frames a second, which is kind of cool. As far as competition with Canon's kind of, I don't know, they're like way up here. Like the C70 is kind of what this guy competes against as far as like form factor, but the C70 is a $5,500 camera. It's much more of a, I don't know, Canon's kind of made itself a more premium brand, I think. So Blackmagic is sort of competing with it, but not really. So this seems like it's going to be a pretty cool camera. I'm sure there's going to be lots of reviews on it when it comes out, and I think a lot of people will pick this guy up. I think built-in ND filters is probably the biggest feature that I look for when I'm looking for a solid camera. Like the C200 was so popular because it just had everything built in. And I think this camera has a lot of that. So I think this is going to be a really popular camera, especially for the price point. That's going to wrap up the video. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button, and stay tuned for more content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.